I'm going to show you how to create these really pretty, frilly, ruffly edged petals. And in this flower we've got some more details in the middle as well, with the stamen and the little tiny stars to create that texture. Now the colours I've used for this flower is a tiny amount of Pro Gel Peach and some gooseberry green. So have a cupcake ready, and the piping tips we're going to use is a 124K, a number 10 round with the gooseberry green, and a number 2 round with a lighter shade of the gooseberry green, and a gem 26. It's a very tiny small closed star nozzle. If you haven't got one of these, you can use any small star nozzle to create this look. As always, put a layer of buttercream onto your cupcake for a crumb coat and use the same colour as the petals. Now the 124K tip is a long, thin tip. It doesn't have a fat end or a thin end. But when you look at it in the bag, it's got a long end at the bottom. So you can treat this long end as if it was your fat end. And then the shorter end at the top will be the tip of your petals. Now I've got too much buttercream in my bag here. So I'm going to push it all down to the bottom and then hold the bag where it's comfortable. So you've just got a palm full of buttercream. Now squeeze your thumb and finger together at this point and turn the bag to tighten it up here. And now you've got the perfect amount of buttercream in your hand. Now this out the top is not going to go anywhere, it's safe. So have a nice tight bag with just a small amount in it, and remember the angle of your tip. You want the long part of the tip at the bottom. Now I'm going to make teardrop shaped petals, so I'm going to turn my wrist and come round in a semicircle like this. I'm going to add a wave to the petal. It's very slight. So line up the tip with the edge of the cupcake case and have it parallel to the cupcake. Now as you squeeze and come round, you put that little wave in. And you can see it makes this really lovely frilly edge. So turn your wrist, squeeze and come round with a little wiggle and come off. Touch down, squeeze around and wiggle and come off. And go all the way round the edge of the cake. So when you've gone all the way around with your first row, just stop and make sure your bag is nice and tight. Always want to work with a tight bag, and we'll do another row on top of this first row in between the petals. So touch down, squeeze and give a little wave as you come round in that teardrop shape. Remember to turn the cake, touch down, squeeze and come round, and when you've got that petal you want, just stop squeezing and come off. And now we'll put another layer in. Make these ones much shorter, so they're not going to be the same size as the first two. And you can see where there's buttercream already on the cake, these petals will stand up a little bit more than the first two rows. So there, you've got your frilly petals on your cake. And now we'll fill in the centre. So take up your number 10 round. Now this measures about 6 millimeters across the bottom here. So if you haven't got one, just put your buttercream into a piping bag, snip about half a centimetre or so off of the end, and that will do the job absolutely perfectly. Make sure your bag is nice and tight. Now I'm going to put the end of the piping tip into the centre of the cake. Just touch down in the middle and squeeze the buttercream out without moving the tip too much until it fills up that center of the flower. If you turn the tip like this as you come off in a circle, you won't get the pointy bit on the top. And now we'll add the stamens. So take up the number 2 round, and again, if you haven't got one, you can put your buttercream into the piping bag and just snip about 2 millimeters off the end of the bag. So make sure your bag is nice and tight and that you haven't got too much in it. And we'll add some stamens around this center. So touch down on that dark green, squeeze and lift, and then come off. And you can make these all different lengths. And I'm following the edge of the petals here, so that the angle of them is the same angle as that last row of petals. And if you get ones that stick to your piping tip like that, just wipe them off on a piece of paper towel and start again. So you touch, squeeze and lift, wipe any straggly bits off. It's happening to me a lot because my buttercream is very, very cold and it's a very small piping tip. I should have warmed the buttercream up just a little bit to make it more pipeable for me. So if you are struggling, or if you want to, if it's more comfortable for you, just lay the cupcake on the table and you can pipe like this, supporting your wrist with the other hand. And then you turn the cake and keep going round. So there's all your stamen in, and now we can put the little star details onto the center. So take up your small star tip and make sure your bag is nice and tight. Now I'm just going to touch the tip to that center, squeeze and come off. It's a very tiny squeeze that you're doing here. So you just touch, squeeze, come off, and go all the way around, filling up that center with little stars. Gives a really pretty detail to the flower. Turn the cake as you do it, and make sure you haven't got any gaps. And there you go. There's your really pretty frilly petal flower. You can make these in any colour you like.